What is this place?
Well, damn, you made it to the spot. This is your safe and encouraging place where we are getting down with our healing journey. So if you come from trauma, if you come from domestic violence, if you come from sexual assault and you're listening, that means you are a survivor. And together we get to grow. This is where we ask real questions like, why does this journey feel so damn endless? And more importantly, how do we begin to actually heal? This spot is also for the fellas who are tired of all the toxic BS that is out there and who are ready to find out what the hell real masculinity looks like. And yes, we will also address the most important question on everybody's mind.
Dude, what's that on your face?
So please join me, David Torres, on this path where we stop blaming, where we start healing, and where we start getting answers. This is Walk With Me. Spoiler alert, it's a birthmark. It's just a damn birthmark. Hello, welcome back to Walk With Me. If you have been here before, I'm so glad you're back. And if you're new here, this is a space where we talk about growth, real healing, and what it actually means to become stronger. Thank you again for stopping by. This is going to be a great show. Let's start with some conversation. This week has been awesome. How has it been for you? Let me know. I love to hear what you have done from last week to this week. My week was pretty darn cool. If you don't know, I live in Colorado, and we are hockey fans. We're every sport fans, but this time of year we are hockey fans, especially since the Nuggies are gone from the playoffs. However, we got the Avs, and if you're listening from Minnesota, I'm not talking shit. You guys had a great ass squad, but I am very excited and happy to see the Avs moving on to the Western Conference Finals. We are excited here in Colorado. I hope that you are excited wherever you are. And if you're in Colorado, let's fucking go. This is good stuff. Let me know, guys, in the comments. Send me an email. I'd love to hear how your week went. This is all about growth. This is all about growing together. And I am really interested to hear from you. So please reach out. Let's get into this episode, which I'm super excited about. This is another episode of The Code. It's been a couple weeks since I've had a code episode. Today, we are stepping back into The Code. This one, gentlemen, and for the ladies listening, this one matters because we're talking about respect. Damn, what is respect? Not the version most of us were taught, though. So we're talking about something different. By the end of this episode, what my goal is, and what I hope you understand, is the difference between respect and control, why fear gets mistaken for respect. Yes, what strong men don't need to take to prove that they have respect. And we're going to go over 5 traits you can start practicing today that will jumpstart your journey of building respect, a foundational respect that no one can tear down. I'm pumped for this. Let's fucking go, guys. Before we get into it, I want you to look around right now. Because everywhere you look online, you see a lot of conversations about dominance, about power, about control. And a lot of it sounds like, don't let anyone disrespect you. You know, check people immediately. Make sure they know who they're dealing with. It's tough. It's tough talk. I get it. And on the surface, that sounds like strength. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I haven't fallen for shit like that before. I've been there, and I get that. But when you look a little bit closer to that, you know, when you actually start to dissect what that actually is that a lot of it is just insecurity. It's dressed up as confidence. Fire? Because if you need control to feel respected, you're not respected. You may be feared, which is illogical, but maybe you are. But you're not respected. Let's clear something up right now. Fear is not respect. Go ahead and hate on that. Go ahead and tell me how fear draws respect. two different things. It's two different things, and you're not paying attention. And if somebody has to be afraid of you to respect you, my friend, you've already lost. It's done, finite. That ain't respect. Let's start right here. Most men were never taught respect. We were taught dominance. There are a great deal of videos out there of these fucking dudes. I've seen like two or three of them, and they're infuriating. I've heard dudes talk about, man, I could like kill my wife, like in an instant. I can kill her. I'm dominant over her. Yeah, okay. Okay. Let's presume in a particular relationship that the man of that relationship is physically stronger than the woman, and he could very well kill her with his bare hand. First of all, he won't, because if he's saying it, he's a bitch already. Number two, then what? What does that prove? That she can't beat you up? So you're dominant to her because of that? So where does that place you on the list of dominance with the other million or so men that can whip your ass or kill you with their bare hands? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see how illogical all of this is? This is what we were taught. Don't get disrespected. Don't let anything slide. Always have the last word. Here is the honest and sometimes hard to hear truth. Respect isn't something you take. Listen to me what I just said. I want you to, if possible, repeat what I just said. Respect isn't something you take. It's something that's built. And if you're not man enough to build something, then you're not going to gain respect. Because when you build something like that, it's earned. But when you try to take it, it turns into control. And control ultimately makes you less than. It makes you weak. That's it. The reality layer is this. Because when someone fears you, they might comply. Yeah, well done. But they don't trust you. They don't feel safe with you. They don't respect you. That's what we're looking for. All of us as humans, not just men. We want to earn that respect. So let's real life break this down. Let us make it real. That's what we like to do. Because this shows up every day. Number one, you don't need to take the last word. It's so old school. Gentlemen, it's time to adapt. It's time to grow the hell up. Strong men don't need to win every conversation. At times, me and my wife joke around about it because the last word is so important in this house. Jokingly, we'll say shit like, okay. And then she'll say, fine. And I'll be like, cool. And she'll be like, okay. And we'll do that for like a minute or two. And it's fun. It's jokingly. But this is the way some men actually do this. Not every moment, gentlemen, not every moment is a battle or needs to be treated like a battle. Sometimes strength looks like listening, shutting the fuck up and listening, letting someone else talk or explain themselves and truly hearing them. When I say listen, I mean truly hearing them, not prepping your next comment, really listening to them because you might have missed something. And listen to this. Sometimes strength looks like simply walking away. It does, because there are situations where you can recognize very quickly that regardless of what you do, there will be no resolve. There will be no intelligent or proper resolve to any of this. You feel it. Just walk away. You don't lose respect by not reacting. You've gained control. You took control of that conversation. Bye. That's it. You don't need to have the last word. So those three things when we talk about the last word. Listen, or really hear. Let someone else talk. Okay? And sometimes walking away is your deal. The second one I want to talk about is you don't need to take every challenge. Listen, not everything is a threat, my friends. You know? But when you're insecure about things or about yourself, everything feels like one. So you defend everything. Every action, everything you say, you have to defend it. You respond, or I should say, react to everything. Every instance, every action, everything said to you. And you constantly feel like you have to prove something. Why? To whom? Why is that so necessary in your life? Why do you feel Joe Schmo, who's looking at you or yelling at you from across the street, or the idiot keyboard warriors who talk shit about you? Why do we care? Why do we feel like we have to prove something to them? Who are they in our lives? Strong men don't do that, gentlemen. Strong men do not do. They choose. They pick and choose what deserves their energy, your energy. And that's good, because if everything triggers you, you're not in control. Isn't that the whole thing these alpha males are trying to teach you? Control, which is good. It's good to have control. But they're teaching you in the wrong damn way. They have no idea what control truly is. So start paying attention to that. And that is a perfect segue to the third one I want to talk about is you don't need to take control of people to be in control. Control is not leadership. Control says, do what I say. Do you hear that? Respect, my friend, says, I trust you to make your own decisions. Because you do. Here's the truth. If someone only listens when you're loud, when you raise your voice, you don't have respect. Sorry. You have pressure. And pressure, my friends, brings nothing to the table. It doesn't. And here's my favorite one, the fourth one. You don't need to take power from women. I wanted to say this in a different way. That was the title that I put on there. But let's talk about it. Because I brought up earlier those guys on social media talking about how they can kill their wives with their bare hands. These fucking idiots. Weak men feel powerful by controlling women, taking over women, diminishing women. If you don't want to do either of those three things, and I'm going to put them in a package, okay? It's not one or two of them. It should be all three of them. Then you're in the right space. You're taking the right steps, because neither one of those things, neither one of them gives you strength or makes you look strong or brings you respect or makes you a man. None of those things. All of those things simply says you are an insecure piece of shit who preys on people who may be weaker than you physically. That's all that is. Okay? Strong men, they don't do that. And they certainly don't need that, because their identity isn't built on being above someone else. You heard? Real strength doesn't compete with women. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you need that? Real strength stands beside them. Yeah? It's not fucking rocket science. And yet we're listening to some of these idiots talk and thinking, oh yeah, there it is, there's strength. So let's run this back. Strong men don't need to take the last word, take every challenge, take control of people, or take power from others. Respect isn't taken. That's all you get out of this. Take that. Respect isn't taken, it is earned. It is built. Okay, here's the truth moment, y'all. If you have to prove your power constantly by raising your voice, by trying to be strong and power and physical, you're physically stronger, or keyboard warrior talking shit, you don't actually feel powerful. That feeling is short-lived. It's not sustainable. It's weak. And that's that. So let's get into the truth here, okay? This is hard because a lot of us were taught the opposite of what I just said. So when we start moving like this, you feel like you're being soft, you're letting things slide, you're losing control. I understand that. I'm not here to tell you that those feelings aren't going to come up, especially if the assumption of what strength and respect truly is comes from a background of learning it from somebody who taught it with yelling and with physical threats and things like that. Okay? That's not what's happening here. You're gaining discipline here. You're working for something. And over time, that turns into things like trust, into things like stability, like real fucking confidence. Tell you guys something. Real confidence is not easy to obtain. It's simple, but it's not an easy process. But when you start, because it's a process, right? When you start gaining real confidence, you start realizing the things that are so unimportant that other people think builds strength and respect. You'll start seeing it firsthand. And it brings a confidence that doesn't need to prove itself. You've proven it to yourself. And you start realizing that the people that you love and the people that are around you, it's proven to them without telling them. And the people on the outside, you give two shits about what they think because they're irrelevant in your circle, in your family, and in your life. They are irrelevant. Let's throw some research on this. Research in psychology and leadership consistently shows men with strong emotional regulation and impulse control. We talked about this. Perform better under pressure. They build stronger relationships. They are trusted more in leadership positions. And they make better long-term decisions. It's not my opinion. It's behavioral science. And if you think behavioral science is just foo-foo or bullshit, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what else I could say to prove to you that it works, that it's real. But I encourage you to give it a shot. Life-changing. So now you're asking, what do we do? How do we get there? We stop chasing respect. Okay, we start to build it. I've said it a couple times today. Those are two completely different mindsets, right? Respect chasing and respect building. What do we choose? We're going to build that shit. We're going to work. It's time to get to work because chasing respect usually looks like this: needing the last word, trying to dominate the conversation, trying to look tough all the time. You ever look in your rearview mirror and there's somebody behind you with their hand up on the steering wheel, their sunglasses on, and they're looking like this? Yeah, they're you totally have respect for that. I'm sorry, that was a rant. Reacting to everything immediately instead of pausing, thinking about it, and making a calculated decision on whether a response is necessary or worth your time. Another one is constantly having to prove yourself. You don't have to do that unless you're chasing respect. Okay? If you're chasing respect, you're needing attention. Look at me. I'm the man. I am the alpha. You need that all the time. You need validation all the time. Because once you stop getting that, your confidence levels go way down. They plummet. And you also need people to know that you're the man. Because it's important, right? If you know somebody who has died and you go to a cemetery, every man that died says on the bottom there, everyone knew he was the man because of the way he told us every day. Come on. I know I'm making jokes, but it's real. That's bullshit. Honestly, a lot of us were taught this was confidence. But most of the time, that's insecurity looking for reassurance. We're not doing that here. Because when you truly respect yourself, you stop needing to perform power every 5 seconds. All right. So what does that look like, David? I got it. I'm sorry. I ranted. It looks quieter, but it looks stronger. Awesome. Let's get into this. 5 traits. We're going to get into it right now that shows you what building respect actually looks like. These things are not only essential, but practical and simple. Not easy, practical and simple. Okay? We're going to go over these 5 actions that you could start doing today. And when you start doing that, it'll jumpstart you building a life of respect, not fear, not anger, not dominance, but true respect, my friends. Respect you will never earn from being a fucking toxic piece of shit like these proclaimed alpha male losers, okay? Weak men demand respect. Strong men build that shit, okay? 5 traits. Trait number 1, you say what you mean. You do what you say. You become reliable because people don't trust words, my friends. That's why all this talking stuff, their audience are kids because they trust words. They don't know any better. Adults, we know better. We don't trust words. We trust patterns. You feel me? One of the fastest ways to lose respect is being unpredictable. Strong men become stable men. So when you say something, you must mean it and show it by your actions. When you say you're going to do something, you must do it and you must show people that you mean business by your actions. Become reliable. Okay? Consistency. That's number 1. Number 2 is emotional control. I don't want to hear you guys fucking whine about this emotional control. Stop being so scared about that phrase. Emotional control is fantastic. This one matters. Emotional control is not emotional suppression. It's the ability to feel something without letting it control how you behave. It's not weakness, gentlemen. It's probably one of the strongest things you can do as a man is to be able to feel things without blowing the hell up. So, not exploding every time you're frustrated, not needing to check everybody, right? Not making emotional decisions in heated moments. Because if everybody around you can control your emotions, they control you. And research consistently shows that emotional regulation is tied to what I say: stronger leadership, better relationships, higher career performance. It is also improved long-term decision making. Guys, it's there. It's not weakness. That's behavioral strength. It's that simple. Emotional control. Take that pause. Every time you feel it, every time you feel that coming on, pause. Breathe a couple times. Really dissect the situation. Is a response necessary? And if so, how can I respond calmly, with strength, without having to demand respect? There. Number 3, accountability. I love accountability. This is why I love accountability. Let me be clear here. Accountability fucking sucks sometimes. I'm not going to sugarcoat what accountability is. Taking accountability for things sometimes sucks because it forces you to review the things that you've done and how it impacted others, and really dive into the idea that maybe I did something wrong. Here's a powerful part of it. Strong men own their impact, okay? Even when their intention was different. Have there been times where I have had to take accountability for something that I did, even though I meant no harm to that thing? Because when we do things or say things to the people around us, to our circle, to our work friends, to the people we manage, to our manager, to our wives or husbands, and it hurts them, despite us going, hey, I didn't mean that, it doesn't change what the impact was to them. Taking accountability is learning how to say, I was wrong, or I handled that badly, or I need to work on that shit. And let's be honest, a lot of men would rather defend themselves forever than sit in accountability for 5 uncomfortable ass minutes. It is uncomfortable. It's hella uncomfortable. But it's part of the building process of your growth. And it is massive. This is where growth starts. Okay? Weak men protect ego. Strong men protect truth. It is the fucking truth. Y'all, pay attention here because we cannot continue to make excuses for the things that we know are wrong. We have to sit in our shit, get out of it, fix it, and move forward. That's strength. That's building. Okay, number 4, respecting boundaries. You want respect, my friends? You want real respect? Learn how to respect other people's autonomy. No controlling them, no pressuring them, not demanding access to them. That's not respect. Real confident doesn't panic when someone says no, or I disagree, or I need space. Strong men can hear boundaries without taking them as personal attacks. Does it affect us? Does it affect you? Yeah. I'm not saying you have to be completely void of any emotion when you hear things like this, like rejection. Rejection is hard. It is very hard when you don't get the job that you want, when you don't get the girl out on a date that you really, really like. Rejection fucking sucks. But confidence is learning not to panic during a rejection like that. We know how to handle those things. It shouldn't be life threatening. Okay? It's a no. It's a no thanks. It's a fuck off. Who cares? Move on. I'm not saying that that's easy. Nothing here is easy, but it's simple. And that's how you grow. 5, building quiet confidence. This might be the biggest shift of all because some people tend to think that being quiet is soft or weak. A lot of men think confidence is loud. You've been there. You've been with a group of people and the loud mouth comes in and nobody likes him. That's not confidence. Confidence is calm. It's walking into a room without needing to dominate it. It's being secure enough to listen, to hear others. And it certainly isn't needing constant validation. And ironically, those are usually the men people respect the most. Not because they demand it, because they became someone trustworthy, grounded, emotionally safe. They look at you standing there, quiet, strong, and you're automatically attractive, not in the just sexual way, but in every aspect of the word. As a human being, you become an attractive human being. People are drawn to you when you have that type of strength, real type of strength. And listen, let's bring this home. This doesn't happen overnight. These are steps that you can take now that kickstarts your building respect. Most of us weren't taught this. We were taught performance. We were taught ego. We were taught reaction. And we have to unlearn those things. So yes, learning this can feel uncomfortable at first, and it will. Not can, it will. But man, eventually you stop trying to look powerful and actually become powerful. And that's the goal here. Yes? Listen, you're not going to get this all right all the time. We're practicing, we're building, right? Every time we build something, we're going to falter, we're going to fail, we're going to learn. You're going to react at times. You're going to slip at times. You're going to fall into old patterns at times. Doesn't mean you failed because you're trying, because you're recognizing it. And ultimately, you're learning something new. And that is difficult in any aspect of anything, especially in growth. Growing, becoming strong in all the right ways is worth it. And it encompasses everything that you do in your world. All right, here's your challenge for the week. The next time you feel disrespected, guys, reach out. Let me know how this goes. I want to hear. But the next time you feel disrespected, pause and truly ask yourself, do I need to react? Or do I need to stay in control? And then choose your response. Yes? not your reaction. If you do this one time this week, I'd love to hear about it, but more importantly, I'd love to hear how it made you feel. Okay? But you got to do it. If you skip this, nothing changes. All right, we're getting into our fashion tie in. Let's bring in something cool. You ever notice the men who are truly respected usually aren't trying the hardest to prove it? They're calm, intentional, comfortable in themselves. And honestly, guys, that even shows up how they dress. Because style, your style, whether people realize it or not, is communication. I think for a long time, a lot of men were taught to treat fashion like another competition, another performance, another way to project dominance. But healthy masculinity changes that. Healthy masculinity says, I don't need to perform power constantly to know who the fuck I am. So now style becomes less about intimidation and more about alignment. How you present yourself starts reflecting things like confidence, emotional intelligence, discipline, self respect, and best of all, authenticity. Because I'm not telling you here what you need to wear. I'm not telling you it's always got to be a jacket, or it's got to be a tight fitting shirt, or it's got to be loose jeans or tight dress pants. I'm not telling you what to wear. That you will find for yourself so that you fully feel like you're reflecting who you are. Not ego, not control, not trying to prove you're alpha for 5 minutes. Because honestly, the loud guy in the room usually is the least secure one. And I love how modern masculinity is evolving in a really important way right now. Men are starting to realize they can care about style without losing masculinity. They can express personality without weakness. They can prioritize self-care without shame. And they can present themselves well without needing to dominate everyone around them. That's growth, my friends. And that's real confidence. It doesn't copy everybody else. It defines itself. That's why the most grounded men usually dress with intention, not because they're desperate for validation, but because they respect themselves enough to show up intentionally. That intentionality matters because when you learn emotional discipline, it starts showing up everywhere in your life, even how you carry yourself, how you groom yourself, how you dress, how you walk into a fucking room. Not performative masculinity. Get that shit out of here. Not aggressive masculinity. Aligned masculinity. And that earns real respect. Not fear, not attention, respect. Real masculinity is not about looking the most intimidating. That's bullshit. It's about becoming someone people feel safe, grounded, and confident around. And that's your fashion tie-in for the week. Listen, if you've been chasing respect by reacting, by controlling, by proving something, you're not alone. I know that I threw digs in there every so often, but I've been there. Most of us were taught this shit. But now we can start to learn better. And now you can start to move differently. Let's bring this home. Today, we talked about what respect actually is, why fear isn't respect, and what strong men don't need to take. Because this isn't about dominance. It's about being in control of yourself. And listen, some dudes probably think I'm crazy. They think I'm some watered down excuse for a man because I feel, because I cry, because I talk about fashion, because I sing at the top of my lungs regardless of who's around, because I grew my hair out, because I wear bracelets, because I'll break out and dance in the supermarket if there's a good ass jam on. I'll do it. Because I don't give a fuck when some loser on social media makes fun of me. If you think I'm crazy, you are right. If that makes you uncomfortable, then good. You are on your way. You think I'm going to give a damn about what some insecure piece of shit leaves on our comments? No. Guys, I have a fucking birthmark on my face, and I'm putting myself out on social media. I've got to have a certain level of crazy, right, to do that. Yes? Being yourself is crazy. Being uncomfortable is difficult. But both those things breed true happiness. I can't make you have this mindset. I wouldn't want to make you do anything. But if you want to spend the rest of your life worrying about what some obscure, unimportant douchebag thinks about you, have at it, man. Do you, boo-boo. You'll be right there with them when you're old and angry about what everyone else is doing, instead of enjoying who you are and what you're doing. Imagine being so fucking unhappy that you scroll social media all day looking for people to put down. Fuck. Thank you, but no thank you. What I want for you is to uplift people. I want people to know that happiness is conjured by one person and one person alone. You, bitch, not some self-proclaimed alpha male. They need acceptance from other men that they don't even know. They need that acceptance to feel relevant. The admiration of young men who don't know any better. My acceptance, that comes from David motherfucking Torres. And if I don't like something, I certainly don't blame others. I don't clown other people who are actually doing something to make myself feel better. I do the damn work. And so will you. Stop following what other people are doing. Find your joy. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm certainly not here to tell you to be like me. Fuck that. I'm here to help show you that there are real options you have. Real things that can help you grow, like consistency, emotional control, accountability, respecting boundaries, and building quiet confidence. But it's you that needs to make the choice. Be you, all of you. Don't ever believe you are better than anyone else. And certainly don't blame others for your inadequacies. We all have them. We all have insecurities. We all have things that we want to fix. Let's do the work. Let's do the work we need to do to learn who we are, who you are, what you want, and be fucking kind. Stop trying to just blend in. Find what makes you happy. Go do the fucking work that you need to do, and then spread that shit to others. You, my friends, will not know true happiness, true love, true acceptance until you start working on you. And that is real power. Because progress is the point. Until then, take care of yourself, and I'll see you on the path. Hey, y'all. Thanks for walking with me today. If something in this episode resonated with you, you can find resources, support organizations, and additional information at walkwithmepod.com. Whether you're seeking help for yourself or someone you care about, those resources are there for you. You can also connect with me on social media. All of the links are in the show notes and on the website. I always welcome your reflections, questions, and stories. And with your permission, some may even help guide future episodes as this community continues to grow. If you believe in what we're building here, please take a moment to rate and review the podcast. It truly helps this message reach more people who may need it. And if someone came in mind while you were listening today, consider sharing this episode with them. Sometimes a single conversation can open the door to healing. Until next time, keep moving forward, one step at a time. Psst, this part is super important, my friends. I want to be very clear about something. I am not a licensed therapist, a counselor, a psychologist, or a medical professional. The content shared on Walk With Me is based on personal experience, research, education, and lived perspective, not professional or clinical advice. This podcast is intended for educational, reflective, and community-based conversation only. It is not a substitute for professional mental health care, medical treatment, legal advice, or crisis intervention. If you are in immediate danger, experiencing a crisis, or need professional support, please contact emergency services or a licensed mental health professional or a trusted support organization right away. Resources and hotlines are listed in the show notes, and on walkwithmepod.com. Listening to or participating in this podcast does not establish my therapeutic, professional, or client relationship between you and I. My goal here is to open conversations, challenge harmful patterns, and offer insight and hope. But your safety, healing, and care deserve qualified, professional support when needed. Please take care of yourself